You want to know what really grinds my gears? Triple H and Adam Pearce are sanctioning Paul Heyman for masterminding an attack on Bronson Reed, but they had zero problems when CM Punk got attacked multiple times, when Cody Rhodes was getting jumped week after week, when Seth Rollins had his back broken by the Bloodline. But now they care. Now they want to be heroes. This is the most backwards, hypocritical, spineless display of authority I've ever seen in professional wrestling. And if you're not furious about this double standard, you haven't been paying attention to what's been happening in WWE. Listen, before I completely lose it breaking down this disaster, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now and smash that notification bell because Ring Rumble 1 is the only place you're going to get the real truth about what's happening in WWE without the corporate filter. We don't hold back, we don't play favorites, and we sure as hell don't let WWE management get away with this kind of nonsense. So subscribe, turn on those notifications, and let's expose this mess together because what I'm about to reveal will have you questioning everything about how WWE is being run. Alright, let's break this down piece by piece because the more you actually think about this Paul Heyman sanction, the more insane it becomes. Paul Heyman, the wise man, the special counsel, the greatest advocate in sports entertainment history, is being sanctioned by Triple H and Adam Pearce for allegedly orchestrating an attack on Bronson Reed. And apparently, this is where WWE management decides to draw the line in the sand. Not when the Bloodline was systematically destroying the entire roster for 1,316 days. Not when Roman Reigns was smashing people with chairs, concertos, and steel steps every single week. Not when the Usos were super kicking anyone who looked at them wrong. Not when Solo Sikoa was hospitalizing people left and right. But when Paul Heyman supposedly orchestrates one attack on Bronson Reed. That's when Triple H and Adam Pearce suddenly remember they're supposed to be running this company. The audacity is unbelievable. Let's talk facts here. Let's go through the receipts, because WWE clearly thinks we have amnesia or we're just not paying attention to their own programming. Paul Heyman has been the architect behind the Bloodline since day one. Everyone knows this. It's not even a secret, it's literally part of the storyline. He's been counseling Roman Reigns, strategizing every move, manipulating every situation to the Bloodline's advantage for years. This is established canon in WWE programming. So answer me this, if Paul Heyman was orchestrating everything the Bloodline did for over 3 years, why is he only getting sanctioned now? Where was this energy when Jey Uso was being psychologically tortured by his own cousin? Where was this righteous indignation when Sami Zayn was getting beat down week after week? Where were Triple H and Adam Pearce when Kevin Owens was getting attacked in parking lots, backstage, and in the ring repeatedly? I'll tell you where they were, nowhere. They were conveniently looking the other way because the Bloodline was making the money. Because Roman Reigns as tribal chief was the hottest act in wrestling. Because the Bloodline's dominance was selling tickets, merchandise, and Peacock subscriptions. But now that the Bloodline is fractured, now that there's a war brewing between Roman's faction and Solo's faction, now management wants to step in and pretend they've been enforcing rules all along. That's not leadership. That's cowardice. And let's talk about the victim here, Bronson Reed. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Bronson Reed deserved to get attacked. But let's examine who we're talking about here. Bronson Reed has been on a path of absolute destruction. WWE portrays him as, he should be hunting down Paul Heyman and whoever attacked him himself. He should be leaving a path of destruction in his wake seeking revenge. Having Triple H and Adam Pearce sanction Heyman on his behalf makes Bronson look like he needs protection, like he can't handle his own business. That's not how you book a monster. That's how you book someone who needs babysitting. But here's where this gets even more infuriating, and this is what really exposes the hypocrisy at the core of WWE's management structure. Let's create a timeline of attacks in WWE over the past few years and see when management decided to step in with sanctions. The Bloodline attacks Kevin Owens for the 47th time. No sanction. Randy Orton gets destroyed by the Bloodline. No sanction. Drew McIntyre gets jumped backstage. No sanction. LA Knight gets beaten down. No sanction. AJ Styles gets put through a table. No sanction. Chad Gable gets humiliated and attacked. No sanction. But Paul Heyman allegedly orchestrates an attack on Bronson Reed. Sanction immediately. Do you see the pattern here? Do you see why fans are absolutely fed up with this selective enforcement garbage? WWE has created a universe where the rules only apply when it's convenient for whatever story they're trying to tell that particular week. And that's not just bad booking, that's insulting to the intelligence of the audience. We're supposed to suspend our disbelief and invest emotionally in these storylines, but how can we do that when the basic laws of the WWE universe change depending on which way the wind is blowing? And let's address something else that nobody's talking about, the timing of this sanction. Why now? Why is this the moment Triple H and Adam Pearce decide to crack down on Paul Heyman? Could it be because Paul Heyman is the last remaining connection between Roman Reigns' original bloodline and everything that's happening now? Could it be because removing Heyman from the equation serves WWE's narrative purposes for whatever they're building toward? Because let's be real, this sanction has nothing to do with protecting Bronson Reed or enforcing WWE's code of conduct. This is about storyline manipulation. This is about Triple H and Adam Pearce trying to control a situation that's been spiraling out of their control for years. The bloodline became so powerful, so dominant, that it exposed every weakness in WWE's management structure. Roman Reigns didn't answer to Triple H. He didn't answer to Adam Pearce. He was the tribal chief, the head of the table, and he operated above the rules because management allowed him to. And Paul Heyman was the brains behind all of it. So now that cracks are showing, now that there's internal warfare within the bloodline family, management sees an opportunity to reassert their authority. They're trying to take back control by targeting the one person who's been pulling the strings all along. But here's what they don't understand: Paul Heyman always has a backup plan. Always. This man has survived and thrived in the wrestling business for over 30 years by being smarter than everyone else in the room. You think a sanction from Triple H is going to stop him? You think Adam Pearce is going to outsmart the wise man? Please. That's like bringing a plastic knife to a gunfight. Minding an attack, then they need to sanction everyone who's ever orchestrated an attack. Every manager who's ever sent their client to attack someone. Every faction leader who's ever ordered a beatdown. Every authority figure who's ever manipulated a situation to cause violence. That means sanctioning dozens of people throughout WWE history. That means going back and retroactively punishing everyone who's ever operated the way Paul Heyman operates. But they won't do that. Because this isn't about establishing consistent rules or creating a fair and just WWE universe. This is about serving the narrative of the moment, consequences and logic be damned. And that's what makes this so frustrating for fans who actually care about storytelling that makes sense. You know what else bothers me? The fact that Triple H of all people, is the one sanctioning Paul Heyman for masterminding attacks. This is the same Triple H who was part of D-Generation X, a group that attacked people constantly. The same Triple H who led Evolution, a faction built on ambushing and destroying opponents. The same Triple H who spent years using his authority as COO to manipulate matches, orchestrate attacks, and abuse his power. And now he's the moral authority. Now he's the one enforcing fair play. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Look, I get it. Triple H is playing a different role now. He's the head of creative, he's running the company, and his character is supposed to be the fair and just authority figure. But you can't just ignore decades of established character history and expect fans to buy it. If Triple H wanted to be taken seriously as an authority figure who enforces the rules fairly, he should have been enforcing them consistently from day one. Not just when it's convenient for the storyline. And Adam Pearce. Don't even get me started on Adam Pearce. This man has been the most spineless, ineffective authority figure in WWE history. He gets intimidated by everyone, he backs down from confrontation constantly, and he's been basically useless in controlling any situation on SmackDown. But now he's suddenly got the backbone to sanction Paul Heyman. Now he's found his courage. Where was this energy when the bloodline was running roughshod over his entire show? Where was this authority when he was cowering in the corner while Roman Reigns was laying down the law? Adam Pearce has been about as effective as a screen door on a submarine, but we're supposed to believe he's suddenly capable of taking on Paul Heyman. Come on. So here's the bottom line. Paul Heyman getting sanctioned by Triple H and Adam Pearce for masterminding an attack on Bronson Reed is one of the most hypocritical, inconsistent, and poorly thought-out decisions WWE management has made in recent memory. It ignores years of established precedent where the bloodline operated with impunity. It undermines Bronson Reed's character as a dominant monster. It exposes the selective enforcement that's been plaguing WWE's storytelling. And it insults the intelligence of fans who've been paying attention to the complete lack of consequences for the bloodline's actions over the past 4 years. Is this leading somewhere interesting? Maybe. Is Paul Heyman already 5 steps ahead of whatever punishment WWE thinks they're handing down? Absolutely. Will this sanction actually mean anything in the long run? Probably not. But what it does prove is that WWE management, both in storyline and possibly behind the scenes, has been completely inconsistent in how they enforce their own rules, and fans are tired of it. So drop a comment right now and tell me, is this sanction justified or is it complete hypocrisy? Do you think Paul Heyman deserves to be punished? And what do you think the wise man's real plan is? Because you know he's got one. If this video got you fired up, absolutely destroy that like button, share this with every wrestling fan who's sick of WWE's double standards, and subscribe to Ring Rumble 1 for more unfiltered wrestling truth that WWE doesn't want you to hear. Paul Heyman didn't build an empire by playing by the rules. And he's not going to let a sanction stop him now.